Well, there's a lot of families here in Arizona that are watching, waiting to hear what's going on with that garbage disaster scenario that the mainstream isn't really covering.
Yep.
It's kind of a breaking story, but I'm really hoping it reaches our executive in DC.
For folks that are outside of Arizona, imagine this. I just want to let them know what you're talking about here, Val. This is really, really important. We did not mean to lead the show with this. We've got a lot to cover, but this is so important. Anyone out there who believes that education needs to be overhauled in some way, that there should be maybe one or two or three or four more choices for schools than the public school system. Thinking of another show there, Val, boy. But Arizona had led the way, and the way I believed, and so many out there, constitutionalists, libertarians, fiscal conservatives, think is to go with the concept of voucher schools, where kids, and this is often the case, they have a choice of 2, 3. I know in Florida, my son once had a choice of 5 schools. And these are based on the doctrine that the Constitution, the business plan for each school. So they can be a variety of genres and specialties, including religious schools. Imagine that.
Yes.
Talk about God. Imagine that. So what happened, Arizona had led the way with this, and they had, I believe it was over 100,000 students enrolled, and it was doing great. I talked to 2 charter schools, boots on the ground, to talk to them. They were amazing. But in the last week or so, and I'll just say it, and then you can take a minute or two and talk about this, Val. It's ESA, right? ESA, which is Arizona's voucher school program, working like a dream. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, in my mind, funding was cut. Of the 100,000, 108,000 or so students, there are going to be 7,000 that are not funded for this school year, just like that. So we won't make a whole show about this, but I'll tell you what, from my point of view and from what I've heard, there are a lot of Arizona moms and families that are pissed right now, and also fearful and concerned. Their kids are supposed to go back to school.
Right.
So I'll turn it back to you. This won't be the whole show, Val, but do a quick synopsis, and then we'll go to our next subject. But thanks, everybody out there.
Right, I'll be real quick. So yeah, over 7,000 families are affected. Imagine just schools cut, no money. And again, my questions where I'm going to leave it, and I'm actively looking into it, is who's pulling the puppet strings? Who's making these decisions? Whether, you should just chop the heads off of education, because the money follows the child. So it's not just numbers, it's actually children. And I know through experience coming from a communist country like Canada, where one of the first things to happen was taking parents' right to education and hammering hard on religious schools. It didn't matter if you were Jewish or Mormon or you were Muslim or Catholic. It was just a blanket approach. So those questions have to be answered, right? It's just the nuts and bolts. And we need to know the who, what, where, when, and why, because it's we the people here. And if it wasn't the people deciding to axe a program, and you look at the 7,000 families and start doing, who was cut? Why? Is there a trend? All of that. So we're working on it. But shout out, I have to say major shout outs to the little tiny schools that are making it. They are going to find a way to keep the doors open, pay the teachers, and work past and through this. But it's definitely a dumpster fire. And but we have lots to talk about. Speaking of DC, I do have that video, just to let you know. I have the video ready for you. So back to you, Greg.